All right. Okay. 7:01, my mind's
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing is we need to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting and the public hearing held on March 17th, 2026, and the special meeting held on March 26th, 2026.
I move to adopt the minutes as presented.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, there's an error in item K of the regular meeting minutes. The vote is recorded in two different ways. It wasn't all eyes.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
It was a roll call. It was a roll call vote.
So we should take out the all ayes and motion carried first. And just move the rest to right after roll call. Does that make sense? Okay. Anything else?
I'll move to the bench.
Yes, I move as amended.
Second.
Okay. All right.
Did you just move the regular minutes?
I move
Both minutes.
Both the special meeting and the public hearing and all three, I guess. The public hearing, the special meeting, and the regular meeting?
So moved.
Okay. All ayes. Or, sorry. Ayes.
Aye.
And-
Aye.
I did
roll
roll.
call. We go.
No, we don't have to roll call it.
No, it's not a roll call. Sorry. I'm just. My brain is going too fast right now. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm going to abstain. I missed 2 of the 3 meetings.
Okay. All right. Supervisor remarks. So I'm gathering based on some of the things I've been hearing about, that a lot of you are here for the private road part of tonight's meeting. And I have had a couple of people ask, so I will tell everybody in here, yes, we are going to reschedule the town hall, which is what we're here to do tonight for that. They're going to look at it some more too, but so the answer to that is yes. So you will have an opportunity to ask us questions, just like what we had scheduled that we had to reschedule, we had to cancel because of. So, okay, that was literally it for me, I think. Let's see. So the agenda for tonight. So, in keeping with what I just said, I would like to move the private road discussion / setting another meeting from where it is up.
You can only move it up one.
So, boy,
Did you want to move it to the beginning? That's what I have in my notes.
I did. So because we do have to have, we are doing an action item, we have to set the special meeting date. So we can't move it all the way up. So
So it would be item A under action items.
Okay, I will go with that first. If that's okay, I mean, honestly, that's what I would like, so. Anything else?
And I would like to move the data center ordinance and data center moratorium from its position in E up to B. Does that make sense?
That way, Trudy can give us the
Mhm.
stuff and then.
And potentially leave. I would also like, pardon me? I would also like to add two action items, I and J. One would be water supply.
We have I and J based on the 2 changes that were just made.
Okay, well, the next one, Elena, whatever it would be, L and,
Okay,
okay. Thank you. I'm spent on the alphabet with my little grandson. One would be the water softener purchase, and the next one would be the payment of the IMEG invoice of $812 of 25.
is that on the table?
It is, I'm sorry. You have the IMEG invoice on the table. Didn't have anything for the water softener purchase.
No, Lynn can tell us.
We can have copies made really quick while they do that. Do you know where it is? The invoice. Got it.
Just,
Please.
okay,
Please.
Thank you. Okay.
She'll pick up any from there.
Okay, all right, so those. Move with that amended
Sure.
agenda.
I move to approve the amended agenda.
Shall we give this up?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay. All right, let's see. That'll be call to public.
Thank you. My name is Steve Bemis, 6500 Jennings Road. And as before, for the last couple of years, I'm here again to talk about warning sirens. I would like you folks to consider a couple of sirens in Webster Township, since we have none. I went to the Dexter Forum on Saturday, hot on the heels of the tornado, and did a little quick straw poll and asked those present, usually there's about 50 or 60 people present, how many people not in Ann Arbor heard the sirens at 1:30 a.m. inside their house, presumably asleep, although some I'm sure were awake following the weather. About half the room raised their hand as having heard the sirens. So I just wanted to throw that out as a point of information. A number of other people told me that they heard the sirens before their cell phone went off, which, you know, seconds, I don't know how much before, but before is before. The hope I have is that we can put a couple of sirens in Webster Township. We have none. Dexter Township has either 9 or 10, I've forgotten. Northfield Township has several. I know some folks can hear those around the edges, depending on which way the wind blows. The city of Ann Arbor, as you probably know, had it on their agenda to disable their 22 sirens. They were doing a survey during March to assess the public's input on that, and I think they had like 3,000 responses. I've not seen a summary of the survey yet. I've been following to see, they claim they're going to make a summary of the survey results. In the meantime, they made a unilateral decision to keep their 22 sirens. So the survey will be interesting, but it won't be dispositive since they made the decision to keep their sirens. As you know, I'm active in the siren monitoring, siren testing business. We have not been able to test our sirens either in March or April because on the days that we were scheduled to test at noon on those first Saturdays of the month, there was severe weather forecast. And we don't test sirens on days when it could be confusing. So they were canceled. We have a number of sirens that have to be checked. It is a maintenance issue, and I'm sure you're going to want to evaluate that. I don't think it's a huge cost. I actually prepared costs estimates some time ago for this board, which I think were distributed to you. It's not a huge cost. John and I met with the contractor that may provide them to us, and I haven't had follow-up on that. I don't know if you had follow-up. John, he told me he was going to follow up, and he didn't. And it was hard getting the meeting to begin with. But I think we're talking probably between $20,000 and $30,000 per siren, and we need their guidance on location of it and that kind of thing. I'd just like to get the discussion back on the agenda if it's possible. I'm willing to work, you know, if we want to do a survey, I'm willing to help design that and do whatever I can to push this forward. So that's it for me.
Thanks, Steve. Anyone else?
Hey, Strumler, 8255 Huron River Drive, Huron River Watershed Council Board Representative. So we hear a lot about data centers these days, but not so much about battery energy storage systems, but they are being built. Just this year, in 2026, 8 major projects have been approved throughout the state of Michigan. So the purpose of a battery energy storage system is to store electrical energy using large-scale batteries and then release it when needed. So they're primarily used to stabilize the electrical grid, provide rapid responses to supply and demand, provide backup power during outages, and then reduce costs by storing energy when its prices are low and discharging it when prices are higher. So they can be used to support renewable energy projects or data centers, but they are also being implemented as standalone units because of the benefits to the electrical grid of stability and cost. So last week at the Huron River Watershed Council meeting, we heard from Salem Township that they have been approached about a battery energy storage system that would be composed of 10 acres of batteries. That's a lot of acres of batteries which contain toxic chemicals. So they described a number of design requirements to address safety concerns, which include the possibilities of fire or explosions. And any local fire department needs special training to respond to these events. So our conclusion was both data centers and battery energy storage systems these 21st century land uses are really different than the ones we're used to. And that's why it's great that we have this topic on the agenda tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. Sorry. Anyone else? Oh.
Jean Wallace, 5903 Gregory Road. I wanted to share with you that the Washington County Board of Commissioners meeting They were very responsive to all of the people who have come forward to them with complaints about the road commission and their slicing down old growth trees. And they also liked the idea of a tree ordinance for Washtenaw County, or at least coming up with structure or scaffolding that townships could use also to create their own tree ordinances. Most of that would probably pertain to developers developing land, but it also could influence the Washtenaw County Road Commission. And several of the commissioners mentioned that it was that removing the trees that the road commission removed were not necessary, and that someone needs to help the road commission be more environmentally responsible. So I just wanted to share that. I would like to see Webster Township have a tree ordinance. It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Dave Daly, 7223 Mulder. So a couple things. One, on the private road, we had a meeting 2 months ago with the Washtenaw County Road Commission. Their goal is to have 10 feet from the edge of the road. It's clear. Not 33 feet, not 66 feet, 10 feet. And that's what, if we're going to go forward with anything, that's what it should be reflective of. Again, I've said it a number of times, we need to, I guess, pare down what's in the current language. That's all I want to say on that right now. So I am glad that we're going to talk about a moratorium on battery storage and the data centers. I think that needs to go into effect right away. And then, I guess last, is there any update on progress on establishing salary ranges so that we don't have the discussion again next year when it comes time for the budget for the third year in a row? Is there an update on performance review completion, which we've never had in at least 18 years? And then just to let you know, looking at the approved budget, since 2025's budget, we went from $346,750 for salaries to now we're over $442,000. And that doesn't include the insurance that was added on, which is another $60,000, or any other benefits. So that's a significant increase in 2 years. And I'm not seeing any efficiency that was gained from the heads being added and from the salaries being brought up.
Thanks, Dave. Stop sheet right there.
Good evening, Peter Stevens, 7500 Travers Lane. I guess before anything else, I guess I would just like to stand in support of what Mr. Bemis said about Webster Township potentially seeking out storm warning sirens to have in our community. I believe I believe in the estimates when they were around, it was going to be something like $47,000 for a siren and the yearly upkeep on it. That equates to not even 25% of what's been spent in legal costs in the last year. I'd much rather see the township's money go to something that would support a public service and public safety, as this board with the private road ordinance seems to be trying to enhance public safety, and storm warning sirens could only do that. Second, I see that the board seems to be taking some kind of movement on a principles of government document presented by the MTA. Some of these principles of governance are pretty important things, like the highest ethical conduct inside and out of the office for those that are representing the township, as well as taking into consideration the greater good of the community and the people that live in it. This is a document that I'm afraid is really easy to look at and say, yeah, that's really cool, we should sign that as a good gesture. But I would really hope that the board would examine these principles and really try to apply them in your everyday work as the leaders in our township. Otherwise, with the private road agreement, the grandfathering thing really needs to be allowed. There has to be strict allowance of grandfathering for private roads that are already in existence, that have existed for 50, 60 plus years. And then just finally, I will also offer my support for a moratorium around data centers in Webster Township. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Okay.
Are you opening up for?
Oh, no, you either talk or,
I just had a quick question before.
or other questions at this point.
Are you opening this up for discussion regarding the private roads later on in your agenda, or is this the only time?
Well, okay, I'll answer this. We are going to have a public hearing on private, or what, question and answer session, town hall, whatever you want to call it, at a future time about the.
Okay, so it's not tonight?
No.
Okay,
We're setting that date tonight.
okay. And I'd like to put this on the record for you. So my name's Mike, and we had a meeting last week regarding some of this information. And so I'd like to have this all on the record. Do you have an attorney of record here tonight? On the board? Is in here tonight? Okay. First off, I'm glad to see that you guys pledge your allegiance to the republic for which it stands. Appreciate that. Now, all levels of government are to be performing their duties and guaranteeing to we the people a republican form of government, not a democracy. Nowhere in our founding documents does the word democracy appear. So, pursuant to Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, your guarantee is a republican form of government. As such, the Constitution always has life and power, never yields to treaty or circumstance. That was determined by the U.S. Supreme Court in Downs v. Bidwell in 1901. Now, Webster Township, from what I understand, has a moratorium regarding the private roads, prohibiting land splits, and some construction under certain circumstance. The problem here is that I'm hearing from some of the locals that this has been going on for like 20 years. Now, does your moratorium have a deadline? Is there an end date to it? Because it cannot go on forever. Second, is it founded on an actual state statute? Because there's none that exists. On those two counts, if you don't have that in place, your moratorium is unconstitutional. It cannot be bound in binding people from prohibiting them from building or land splits. Now, in addition to that, to prohibit people from doing such, you're dealing with contracts. Contractors and such, realtors, and it may obstruct the contracts. So when they say, you know what, I don't want to wait forever for you guys to make up your mind whether you're going to have an ordinance or not. That's obstruction of a contract. That violates Article 1, Section 10 of the Michigan Constitution. Further, we got to get into something that's called territorial jurisdiction. Territorial jurisdiction means that you as the board must show and prove, one, that you'll have the financial vested interest in the property to be able to have any say on regulation. Now, when we talk about territorial jurisdiction, we the people own the roads. All public roads are owned by we the people, not the state, county, or local. So if we the people own the public roads, we sure as most definitely own the private roads. You have no authority over private. Further, under private property, you can't tax it. There are no property taxes on private property. question then becomes, can the township show and prove that they have a vested financial interest in private property? If you can't, no regulation. Do you have an equal or equitable title to that property? You do not. So on those two bases, you have no authority in those regulations. Now, I'm here to give you not only a grievance, but also a remedy to this whole situation, which I'll come to in a minute. As public functionaries, you are bound, according to the U.S. Supreme Court, to act de jure at all times. It means you must follow the Constitution. That was decided by the U.S. Supreme Court in North v. Shelby County, 118 U.S. 425 of 1886. So that means an unconstitutional act confers no rights and imposes no duties and affords no protection to any public functionaries who have acted as usurpers in violating the U.S. Constitution or state constitution. There is no immunity for public functionaries who do not act de jure. So you can be held personally accountable if you fail to do so. So, again, that's the grievance, the remedy. What I'm proposing here and what I'm offering to this board is a way of making sure that you guarantee us a Republican form of government. Myself, as well as several of my associates, we're willing to meet with you and help you do that. I don't want to see this township make the same mistake as others. And you have a neighboring township right now that's in a lot of trouble. And I'm referring to Genoa Township in Livingston County. Genoa Township is battling federal cases right now. And the federal cases are expanding to where the county commissioners, as well as the judicial system of Livingston County, is going to get dragged in. There's no mistake about this. So I don't want to see you guys fall into that trap. And I'm offering to help you make sure that you act de jure, that this township remains and guarantees a Republican form of government to the people, which you're supposed to do. You're here to protect and enforce the Constitution, which protects our rights. That's your job. So when you go beyond that, that's called an act of usurpation. You're not allowed to do that. So that's my offer. I'm willing to sit down with this entire board. I can bring in my other associates, and we can show you exactly how and what to do so that you don't fall in the same trap as what Genoa Township did. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else?
I'll jump off real quick. So I don't know if you remember, we met, so Tim Silverson, 96 Williams Scholar. So just a board's aware, there's a big contingent of people in this township right now who are vehemently opposed to this new road easement, or what do we call this, the ordinance. Yeah, okay, not opposed to it, we're okay with some modifications. I get it, right, clean it up, good verbiage, clear understanding, but we gotta do it with common sense. So one of the biggest things here that I'm hearing, John, we talked, is this idea of, what was the term that we just used? I didn't write anything down. Grandfathering, sorry, just slipped my mind. So grandfathering is a big issue, you guys, right? There truly is. So again, there's established people in this community who've been here for years, and if the idea is this board is going to mandate, hey, they got lots of property, they want to go do a couple splits to give to children, whatever, you're going to go in and you're going to enforce this new clause in this verbiage here that says, hey, you're going to have to build this road 40, 50, 60 feet wide, disrupt a bunch of natural pre-existing conditions on the property. It's not going to go good. So I'm just, you guys consider that seriously, the grandfathering part, right? That's all I'll say about it. Or,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
Anyone else?
I'll do it.
Oh, 3 minutes, you're good.
3 minutes. So this is my first time attending this forum, so thank you very much for the opportunity to come up here and talk. My name is Joanne Dinzer. I live on Dinzer Lane. Lived there for 33 years. My brother-in-law built half of the lane, my husband built the other half of the lane, and we have just cared for it. No, nothing major, that's just how we live, and we all had an agreement together that we would work together to maintain that beautiful piece of land. And then there came a time when some of the homeowners, excuse me, the property owners wanted to sell, and the potential purchaser came here and asked about building. And this happened 3 different times. I won't get into all the examples because it's insignificant, but it's important to me because they were told you cannot add any more buildings there without road improvement. Without road improvement, without road improvement. And that was because of emergency vehicles. Now our lane is perfectly acceptable for emergency vehicles, and my point with that is everybody just followed the rules, you know? Okay, this is the rules, this is in the ordinance, or this is in the township bylaws, I'm not quite sure. So I started reading the bylaws and the ordinances. And something repeated itself a few times that I thought was wonderful. That it says the property owners will be notified. And I wonder, how does that happen? How do you notify property owners when a potential adjustment, ordinance, or rule is going to be changed?
We can't answer questions yet. Oh, okay. We have them after this.
All right. I wasn't following quite the change on the agenda when we were changing that, so I didn't even know if I needed to even come up here right now, because it sounds like we're not going to be discussing the private road splits and stuff today. Is that right?
No, we are.
We are.
Right, but we're going to have a public forum, a question and answer session, town hall, later.
Okay, so we just sit tight and then later we can come back up here and ask questions?
Yeah.
That's how it works?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else?
Hello, this is Sheila Polkowski, 2522 North Territorial, Webster Township. I'm also here representing my father. He's in the back, and he lives on 8192 Woods Trail. He lives on a private road, and everybody does just fine with grading and maintenance and working together and plowing, and nobody has had a problem, and they've lived there since 1980. So I don't really think they need ordinance to help them manage anything. And we've had plenty of fire trucks come down to Independence Lake to get water for the trucks. And plenty of room, plenty of incidences. I don't think it's an issue to create this ordinance. And then my property, I have 11 acres in the back that my father owns. And if we were ever to sell it to somebody, seems like my driveway would turn into a double wide, 20-foot wide driveway with ditches, tree removal. Looks like I would have to move my utilities, a gas line that's 1,200 feet long. The estimate was $100,000. That is ridiculous. That land is an investment or maybe a potential building site for my father as he's aging. Maybe he'll move in and be my neighbor. But with a cost like that, it doesn't make it feasible. So when I read the ordinance, I don't think the grandfathering is really covered enough. And so I would like absolute grandfathering for all existing private roads and driveways. And it needs to be, these rules need to belong in the zoning ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay.
Can I speak again?
No. We have another public comment at the end. Okay. All right, let me see. Board response to the public. I guess I will begin with the easiest question as to, like, when you were asking how we would let you know what your road conditions were. So we did send out our zoning enforcement guy, because he has a camera, to go look at all the private roads right now, and we have a list, and so this is for informational purposes. So even for grandfathering, you kind of have to know where you are to start, right, if you think about it that way. Originally, and I don't know if we've actually made the absolute decision yet, but we were talking about, okay, so if someone wanted to split, that's when we would just send out notices to the people on the road saying, okay, these are our standards, and these are what, you know, yours isn't wide enough, we're not gonna make you do anything, but we're just letting you know. I personally would like to just, now that we have that list, and people have been asking about their own roads already, just basically like sending that out. Here you guys are on this road, this is what we noticed, this is what we see. Now, of course, we're in the middle of doing an ordinance, so we're not gonna do any of that right now. So that's kind of the easy question about, or the answer about that. We will get it out to you. Not requirement so much as, here's what we see. Basically, that was literally what I sent him out for, was to get a baseline. So that's the answer for that. Okay, want to add to anything else about the road?
We should talk about the trigger event and some of these grandfathering questions that have come up. We can start with where our current ordinance is, and then we can go from there. Anybody want to?
I was just going to mention, the current ordinance was established in 1992, and the trigger for us to review the ordinance was actually that residents were arguing with each other and unable to move forward because there was no way for them to create agreement about what the road should look like and how they were going to get there, who was going to pay for it. We don't like to see residents hung up, but we have to balance lots of other things, including that. So we have been working on the ordinance to actually make it less onerous than the original one. And it is already in its draft form, still less onerous than the first one. So, like many other historical ordinances that we work on, which haven't been worked on in many years, the township residents tend to jump to this conclusion that we're trying to create additional strife for them, when in reality the ordinances are, they are sometimes punitive or otherwise, they're very restrictive, and we are actually only addressing them to release some of the restrictions. So that's why this came to our attention. That's the case for many of the other ordinances we've addressed on this board too. They came to our attention because of the restrictiveness, and we had to then look at what is current for today's Webster Township and what should we do to balance all the things that a township has to look at.
Yeah, so like currently, if you want to build on a private road, you have to bring it up to standard. It's in the current ordinance. Unfortunately, it's really never been addressed. A lot of times it'll just let go. And plus, you have to then go to everybody on your road and get them to sign up for a maintenance agreement, which sounds like a recipe for torture, right? I mean, can you imagine? So in that case, when some of the people are coming on the private roads asking to split, you read an ordinance as it is now, and that's what Shelley was just getting at. So right now, everybody that's out there now, no splits or whatever, is grandfathered in. You don't have to do anything. Go build. You don't have to talk to your neighbors and get them to sign, everybody to sign up for it, and you don't have to do anything to the road. Like for example, wanting to cut all the trees down that folks have said, none of that's happening, don't have to relocate utilities, nothing like that. Part of the thinking on the new one is that if there is a larger split, I mean, the ordinance is really designed for when a developer comes in, what should they be doing as far as locating the utilities, locating the roads, and designing where all the houses are going to go. Now, if there's a larger split that was in, there is language in the ordinance that would talk about some road improvements. Not the whole road necessarily. There's language in there where it's conditional, and what's been discussed, my take on what the board's been discussing, in way of where the new lots would go in, there could be some improvement. You know, the road could have to be so long, but not have to do the whole road, not have to cut down trees on the whole road, not have to, like I think Dinser, and you have utilities that are close there, does not relocate all of that. And there's a reasonableness standard that shows up in the standards that we do for each of the cases. So it's meant to be the grandfather in, and where we can make smart improvements, possibly to have a turnout for a fire truck, for example. Those are the types of things that we can consider. And that's what we'll talk about later tonight, and there'll be more discussion when we have the town hall.
Okay, anything else?
First of all, I would like to say that it's very gratifying to me that you all took time out of your personal schedule and came here this evening. This is an uncommon amount of attendance, and I greatly appreciate it. I also want to compliment you all on the quality of your public comment and your courage to make a public comment. I really appreciate that. I could address so many things, but I'm going to limit my reaction to just the private road and driveway ordinance. I personally have great issue with the current draft. First and foremost, I believe that it has there's no reason why it should be a police power ordinance. The Zoning Enabling Act allows us to have a zoning ordinance, and zoning ordinances automatically grandfather because they're amended routinely. But if you have a situation that existed before the amendment, you're automatically grandfathered. With a police power ordinance, we're trying to tie ourselves into pretzels to create grandfathering when we wouldn't have to if we just put it in the zoning ordinance. I want to give a special shout out to Sheila because your comments on your driveway resonated with me tremendously. You have a long driveway with utilities. I have a long driveway with utilities. I have gas on one side, I have electric on another side. It would be excruciatingly expensive for me to change my driveway to meet the language that's in the current draft. So as it stands today, I'm strongly against what we have, and I think what we amend should go in the zoning ordinance. Thank you.
Any other comment? Okay. All right. Looks like treasurer's report.
Oh my goodness. Deep breath. My name's John Scharf. I'm your township treasurer. I have a couple things I'd like to point out. Once a month I do a treasurer's report. There are several elements that are in the board packet. If you have any questions or comments or advice, feel free to contact me at any time. My cell phone number is on the website and on my business card. So as part of my routine, on April the 2nd, I was reconciling bank accounts, of which we have many, and I made an unpleasant but interesting discovery that Webster Township was the subject of check fraud for the first time, as far as I know. Somehow one of the checks that we mailed out was intercepted by a bad guy, and the information on that check was used to create from scratch a completely new counterfeit document. So they didn't alter our check, they just took our information and made a brand new check payable to somebody that lives on Easy Street and signed by Richard Nixon. A bank cashed that check. The original amount was 4 figures. The new amount was more than 4 times the original amount. I don't think I'll say the amount in a public meeting. This is under investigation by the Sheriff's Department. I have filled out affidavits and submitted them to our financial institution. And we have started to implement additional safeguards to protect us from this particular kind of fraud in the future. So in the next days, when somebody tries to cash a check that's made out to a different party than what the original check was made out to, it won't be cashed. So, that's the bad news. In the treasurer's report, one of the elements of the treasurer's report is a cash summary by fund report, which is in page 17 of the packet. However, today when I was preparing for this meeting, I realized that that report is in error because normally my report has 1 month that shows the cash balance, how it changes through the course of the preceding month. But because our fiscal year ended on March 31, I decided to include the 1-year report for how the cash balances changed over the previous year. Unfortunately, my year that I used had 13 months. So today I reran the report, and for those of us at the board table, it's on paper, and it is for the year report from March 31, 2025 to March 31, 2026. So there's good news and bad news with this report. If you look at the 1-year report, the 3 restricted funds that we have, the fund balances actually all went up during the course of that year. I say fund balance, the bank balances went up. The bad news is that for the unrestricted funds, those 2 funds went down significantly. Primarily, the 2 biggest reasons for that have to do with the remodel that has taken place in this building and the fact that we have experienced a significant increase in legal expenses. Also included in my treasurer's report this month, because it was the end of the fiscal year, I included a report that I don't normally or routinely do, which is a budget summary report. That's on page 25 of the, I believe 24 and 25 in the board packet. But page 25 specifically shows the impact of the budgets that we adopted at the last regular meeting. And finally, my final comment I want to make is regarding anticipated bills. Once a month, I take my best guess, sometimes with support from the clerk's department, as to what we might anticipate for bills that come up before the next board meeting. And the reason we do that is because every single bill that we pay must be approved by this board, without exception. But we do that one maneuver because sometimes bills come after the board meeting and really should be paid before the next board meeting. But I wanted to emphasize tonight that not any single bill can be paid without the authority and authorization of this board. Anyway, those are my comments for the treasurer's report. As always, I welcome questions, comments, and advice.
Okay.
Are there any?
So John, since we haven't been talking about roads, the local road fund has a little over 500K. What's outstanding collective?
So if we look at the ending fund balance, yes, it's just over 500,000 that's in the bank today.
And will that increase any in the coming months, or be collected?
No, well, the only thing that's missing from that is we did experience about a 25% increase in delinquencies on property tax. I think people had a harder time paying their tax bill this year than last. But the county will make us whole on any shortfall on that. I have that number on my desk in my office. I can tell it to you later if you'd like, but it's not a huge amount of money.
That's fine. And then historically, when have we paid the road commission? We're going to pay them in July, and then we pay the second payment when?
Yeah, according to their own documents, they will bill us July 1st for 50% of whatever our agreement is.
Then?
In my experience, they don't do that. They usually bill us later, but July 1st is when they say they will.
And then the balance?
And then the balance, the second payment is for whatever outstanding balance is after they've finished all of the projects.
Yeah, at what time?
Well, this last time it didn't happen until, I want to say, close to Halloween. Do you remember?
It was in early November.
Yeah.
We had to poke them together.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking of the interest. We're we can talk about that. Thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept the treasurer report and pay bills?
Okay, I will move to accept the treasurer's report and pay bills, as well as those anticipated bills received before our next meeting scheduled for May 19th of 2026.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Okay, roll call vote, Jeff, please.
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. All right. Consent agenda report.
Can I just make a gripe?
If you like, yeah.
I don't understand why at the April meeting, our report from the sheriff's department is for the month of January.
Well, that was my fault. We have not gotten one for March, I'll just tell you that. But I thought I sent it to Elena and I did not. So when she asked about this month, I went, went back and looked. We are routine, we do get them routinely late. So,
Okay,
yeah, that was all.
thank you.
Okay.
I move to receive and file all the consent agenda reports.
Second.
Okay, discussion. All right, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All ayes, okay.
So we're jumping to private road.
Yeah, so now we're going to, I'll let Sri handle this part.
Mike, I understand the goal for tonight is just to go over the attorney comments that were received. The last time the board saw the draft was at their January meeting. The draft hasn't changed since then. What you have in front of you is just some redline version that included comments we received from the attorney. As you know, the board has decided not to send it to the attorney until you all are ready to set the town hall meeting. Most of the comments are for Article 1, 2, and 3 are kind of straightforward, just some clarification questions that can be addressed in the draft, which I did. You can take a look at those and see if you agree with those changes. For Article 2, he didn't have any comments because it's mostly procedural related standards. Article 3, he didn't have any standard comments because they're all design regulations. They didn't change much from the current ordinance. We just put them in a format that's easy to understand. Article 4, he does have certain comments, and he also addressed the question the board had regarding whether maintenance agreements can be used as a compliance mechanism, to which he said no. And then gave an explanation why. And then Article 5, he just had added some legal language to enforcement that is more in line with what the board wanted to achieve. So what I'm hoping to get from the board is the straightforward changes. If you agree with those, I will update the draft and have that available for public to view before the town hall meeting. I'll stand by my questions, however you want to lead this, section by section, page by page, however. If there's any question for me, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, Mike, I don't have a comment. I thought Chris did a good job. Nothing jumped out at me. I mean, other than the discussion of the maintenance agreement. One area, I guess I'd like to hear the board's thoughts or what we were trying to accomplish and what we're taking out.
It'd be helpful for me if you guys would mention page numbers in the packet.
Yeah, me too, please. Because I missed that part of it.
Is that Article 5, page 156? That's what you're talking about. That's the.
We can do that.
So, Article 5, Section 1 appeals, I think the board discussed briefly last time whether administrative appeals should be discussed and reviewed and determined by this board, or if they should be sent to zoning board of appeals. And I discussed the same question with our attorney. He said there is no popular method of procedure or recommendation based on how things are done. It ultimately comes down to what each community would like those to be addressed as. So that is, So that is a question that's put forward to the board as, because the current draft sends all administrative appeals to the township board. The board like to move forward with that as proposed and gather public input and then make a decision, or if you want to discuss about it now and make changes before we make this available for public. It's a question for you.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Yeah, my position is police power should vest in this board, the elected official.
I agree.
I know that there, I'm sorry.
No,
I know that there was a discussion at one point about whether this was a police power or a zoning ordinance, and I can't remember why we decided it was a police ordinance.
So we have the option of doing both.
Yeah.
Or both, actually, weirdly enough, right? Because for maintenance, you still have to have a police car on it. I had asked the board a couple times if we wanted to send it to the planning commission. Jeff was a hard no, because he stuck with it no matter what. So that's basically, I think some of it was, because you guys you worked on it before I became, right? So a lot of effort and things like that. So I think that might have played into it, too. There is John is correct. Okay, so first of all, we all live here too, and 4 of us are on private roads, at least. I'm not sure about you or Dan. But so we're also interested in grandfathering too, right? We can grandfather in a police power ordinance, and as long as we are here, and it will work. The problem with not having it in the zoning ordinance is because it is a police power, it can get changed by the subsequent board, which is not the same as if it's in a zoning ordinance. So that is a very valid point. Not that we have not tried really hard to do it ourselves, but that's I think that's why it wound up, we kept working on it.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah,
So,
I just can't remember. I know we made the decision, I know there was a lot of debate about it.
so,
I'm not disagreeing with the decision necessarily, I just can't remember what some of the arguments were.
I mean, yeah. So, yes, you may, sorry.
So anything that we do, a future board can change. It doesn't matter what kind of document it is. I happen to think that we have the Zoning Board of Appeals, which their purpose of existing is to hear appeals. And that's what they train for, and that's what they do. That's not what we're good at. And so for that reason, I think that this should be in the zoning ordinance, and therefore by de facto, if there was an appeal, it would go to the ZBA.
Well, yeah, so my comment was on that packet, page 156, and it's numbered page 154. Or is the Rubik's Cube of the packet. So
refresh me, Sri. So what were we doing here with the, my thoughts on the maintenance agreement were, if we're gonna ask some improvement to be done, is that.
I'm sorry, is this the page with figure 4B and 4C?
No, I think it's, okay,
What's the section number?
4.5.
4.5,
F.
G, right?
Okay.
Oh, that's G. Yeah, I mean, this is F.
Page 156.
All right, Sri, refresh my memory here. I mean, I thought we wanted to put some type of maintenance mechanism in there. Capital improvements were made, so that there's some mechanism to make sure it's still there, you know, as years go on. I mean, as Chris's point here is we just can't put it as an enforcement mechanism?
Yes.
Because we can't force the private contract between the residents that they made on their road. Or that they would have to go to court to enforce that contract, right?
Yes, that's, well, I've had a couple of people, over the last month actually complaining about the people aren't adhering to their maintenance agreement, and I had to tell them the same thing.
But this, I agree with what you said earlier about this, you know, I tried to get my neighbor to sign the driveway maintenance agreement. We're friends, but it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. But with a private road, the people on that private road or this body, there's multiple ways that a special assessment district couldn't be created, and the maintenance and the upkeep can be done, and the neighbors don't have to go door to door collecting the monies. It would show up on their tax bill.
Don't they have to be in agreement though?
Not all
All right, so we've talked about, sorry, go ahead.
But no, I'm sorry, only because I.
Yeah, okay.
So if we impose one, an SAD, we can have, it's like if 20% of the people who are on it don't want it, they can pretty much stop our imposition. That's what I.
Gotcha, okay.
If 50%, I guess
50 plus 1.
50 plus 1 of the people on the road ask us for it, then we can help. Basically, they ask and we can do it then. So even if 20% of the people don't want that kind of maintenance, or that kind of SAD, they have to go to the tax tribunal to try to get out of being in the SAD.
All right, so if it's new construction, it's easy, right?
Yeah.
Right, so if
It
it's,
doesn't matter.
Well, but you wouldn't need it.
An SAD can work new or old.
well, as far as the maintenance agreement, I mean, if it's new construction coming in, we could require a maintenance agreement. as
Yes.
part of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's in there.
So if we have a case though where it's splits and multiple new houses are gonna be on a private road, I mean, isn't our thinking in this case is that we require the maintenance agreement only amongst the new splits,
Yes.
right? And not ask the new people that go up and down the road and
Yeah, that's
go
the.
crazy trying to.
Right, same page, F, that's right above it, yeah. And if there is a maintenance agreement on that road already, the new splits would then have to use that maintenance agreement.
Okay, sorry. I'm fine.
Yeah, no, really great.
So Chris is saying we just strike that, right, Sri? G? Yeah, I'm fine.
I need to make a couple of things. So I've seen it, there's a couple of places where we have weird, I'm gonna use that, so it would be our page 157, 5.3 violation. We'll just go straight to that one, because that's one of the, I can't remember where the other one that's like this is, but, so if we go to 5.3,
A different 157 than I do.
Yeah, yours is different.
Oh, so it's just it's 5.3. Yeah, whatever. I know I printed this so I can read it. Okay, I can. So A1, and it talks about inadequately maintained and fails to provide safe and reliable access. Conditions constituting inadequate maintenance include excessive erosion, and then it talks about overgrowth, obstructed gravel areas, and passable surfaces. I know our plan was to have excessive, be like basically modifying all of that. I do think it might be a little easier if we make it clearer that that kind of excessive would apply to that list. Either by, I mean, The easiest way is to make excessive in front of excessive erosion, excessive overgrowth, excessive, or we could do it, yeah, the code. So, which will be a lot easier, I think, for us. And so okay, and then there's another one that's kind of like that too. I'll talk to Sheree about it. Just to make it clear. No, there's another one that is like that. I will have, yeah. It is just kind of the same thing, same kind of list, but a modifier that I think we meant to apply to everything.
If I may, while we're at that question, the comment didn't make it to the list, but Chris and I were also talking about who would make that determination. That
excessive.
Right, all those three items, like a public road shall be found in violation of these ordinances in the following instances, and who would make the determination that those instances have been met. I think it should be made clear that it's probably identified by staff or identified through complaint, but board makes the final determination.
Yeah, you had said something about that, so it's not like a normal.
I'm just throwing words out there, I don't have a recommendation, I'm just saying that if this one says, in that situation, that can happen, but who makes that determination?
Does it seem like it's engineer, township engineer?
But what triggers that determination?
Well, right now, we've been triggered, okay, so I guess for that would be either the fire department,
Complaints.
or we've had that, oh goodness, I can't remember, Merkle Court, we had a resident on it.
Complaint.
Right, so.
I'll put some language that we can consider at the next meeting.
Okay.
So, in terms of determining if it should go to the ZBA or to the board, the positives are that the ZBA has the experience to resolve the situation. They have a set of guidelines that they use to make a decision.
As do we.
Yeah, we do now, yeah, we do too. And the grandfathering piece of the puzzle is sort of automatically in there. The disadvantage for me in the ZBA is what's the cost of, if I have to appeal it now and I'm a resident, isn't it $850? 815? Yeah, that's a lot. I understand why it's that. I'm not saying it's not worth that much money, but, because I know we're gathering a lot of people together to make a decision, but if we're gonna see a lot of these, it's just a consideration I would.
Oh, I think I should stay here. I mean, the flip side debate on this one is the standards of review are vested in the authority of this board. They're in the zoning ordinance, and that's given to the ZBA and the planning commission. You can't, I think ZBA standards of review currently are clumsy. It's the way they're worded. Some are worded as yes, no statements, other ones are positive, some of them are compound. So I remember talking with Shree a bunch about this if we're going to do this, is to clean it up so it's yes, 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 it passes, no, 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 it doesn't pass. And we have two areas in here where that's the case. And I still strongly think that we can do this, we're already responsible for it, we should stay here. We're the elected official.
So we have the other kind of wrinkle in this one is because we have variances kind of vested in us, the ZBA you can't appeal the board decision to the ZBA. So if we say, oh, you have to put in this bump out, and they're like, oh, we don't want to. Or like the ZBA, they have to go to court, basically. So if it's in the zoning ordinance, of course, then it's all, part and parcel of what the zoning ordinance does. But then someone else would have to figure out the variances, I think. So, Sri, you're good.
Just wanted to clarify, I know we shifted really quick, if I may, just take a few minutes. Shelley asked the question earlier of the ZBA versus Township Board before, and I think when you guys are talking, you're also I feel, I might be wrong, that we're switching between variance and an appeal.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just clarify that if it was in zoning ordinance and they go to ZBA for a variance, ZBA is bound by very strict standards of review based on practical difficulty and hardship, which they cannot change because that's being told to them by the state Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. So there's no flexibility there for the ZBA to consider factors beyond practical difficulty and hardship, which is why the board decided to keep the variance come to Township Board, because Township Board through police power ordinance can consider financial hardship as a hardship as well, or can consider something that's beyond practical difficulty.
Yeah, like Sheila's case.
Right, as a hardship as well. So that's the reason why the variances were redirected back to the Township Board. And then with regards to the appeal, from what I remember when I heard the discussion, my takeaway from that meeting was that this is a brand new ordinance and it's very tailor-made, and it's kind of not tailor-made, but it's kind of has a lot of hypotheticals if situations, because the board wanted to look at each case by case basis, because one shoe doesn't fit all. And the appeals that go to zoning ordinance, the ZBA, are appeals from administrative decisions, which is administratively, the zoning administrator only have authority to review and make a determination on shared driveways. So if an applicant who applied for a shared driveway permit is not happy with what the zoning ordinance administrator did, then they would go to ZBA for appeal. But
Shelley, you and I went back and forth a bunch on making that less restricted than what's in the current ZBA standards of review.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I remember that review, that stuff that we had, but I also forgot, and I should not have forgotten this, that the ZBA's ability to give a variance is really very restrictive. And that even with the ordinance written the way it is, if it doesn't meet the criteria of the ZBA review, they can't get variance.
Yeah, we were decidedly less restricted. That was the big impact.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just wanted to make sure, I know, because there's a confusion between appeals and variances.
Okay, thank you. All right, so, well, obviously we're going to have another crack at the apple for this. So, if there's anything else you would like Sri to work on while we set our public hearing, now?
I just want to bring one question Chris raised, which I said I'll bring it up for board's discussion. It's on section 4.2. When the board adopted an amendment last year, which allowed improving on a vacant lot without requiring any road upgrades. Like if somebody wants to just build a house on a vacant lot, they don't have to upgrade the road. Chris pointed out that what would you do if that vacant lot is being used for a discretionary use, like a special land use or a site condo? Would you still like to waive the road upgrades? And I don't think that was the intent of the board.
Yeah, right. It's a good catch.
Okay, so I will provide, I just want to bring it up to your notice. If I wanted to confirm that that was not the intent. The intent was only to help the residents to be able to build a house, but not a developer or somebody who's trying to do a special use or development. So I will revise that to catch that.
Thanks, Sri. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead, Josh.
I just had one comment, and I didn't really want to talk about as you brought up the excessive stuff, I think we should veer away from anything that's subjective that says excessive, because what we all sit around here and we all have a different idea. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We all have a different idea of what excessive is. And so any descriptor like that needs to go. And I know we have that in 5.3. We can address this when we have the open meeting and discuss things. But and we've gone through this ad infinitum, looked at everything, been through it multiple times. But stuff like that we need to avoid. And to be honest with you, I mean, when we talk about obstructed travel lanes, that could be erosion, that could be growth, that could be trees coming over, that could be any of the other stuff. It falls under that too. It's obstructed, just as it is if your neighbor abandons a car in the road and then leaves it there. I mean, those kind of things, or parks and never moves it. I mean, these are the kind of things that we run into, or somebody dumping a bunch of gravel and leaving it there, and all of a sudden you've got one lane going around. These are the things that we need to look at and be careful with.
The debate side of that, the flip side is, and that's why we're on this board, without question, we're going to have to figure out if it's excessive or not.
Yeah.
Is what I counter with that. I understand your point, but eventually it says impassable. So
Right.
I think the board is obligated to make a call. Now, we could say it's impassable, but I think, Mike, your sense was excessive is needed.
So without having something, so you always have that weird trade-off, right? You have either it's lumens or you know, or whatever, or sound, and the only thing I think we wanted to make sure of was that it was not like arbitrary and, oh, that pothole's too deep or whatever. Yeah, or you know what I mean? So if, we can work on more different.
I was just bringing it up food for
No,
thought.
I know you're not, yeah.
So we can think about it next time. And it's one of those things that it's very easy to, you know, depending on who goes out and inspects it, to say this is excessive or this isn't excessive. Right. But people are going to have different opinions on it. And this is the violation part. Right. This isn't necessarily what's coming to the board. Right. This is what's going out there for civil infraction. And that, we need to have consistency. We need to make sure that everybody is treated the same and that there is not any variance in what's being done.
Okay. Right. I mean, that's, if there are objective standards that we can use, we should use them.
Yes, and that's the same thing for this whole ordinance, is trying to make it to where when people come and they ask for something, they have a better idea where it's going to be, because otherwise it's been literally left up to the board and it's kind of been a crapshoot, excuse my phrase, but it's been different at different times, even sometimes with the same situation, and it shouldn't be.
That's so true. Does that tie you in a rhetorical knot?
Yes, I think. Yes, I think that's a good point. And then I was also saying we need to identify who makes the determination. And I think the zoning ordinance specifically says zoning enforcement officer is the one who issues violations. We didn't say that specifically here. We kind of referred to the civil infraction ordinance, which assigns the fire chief, the zoning enforcement officer, and the supervisor who have the authority to issue the violations. So we land in a place where we find the answers, but it's not explicitly stated here. Maybe we can just state that and clarify some baseline to determine how that's.
Yeah, we can get working on that one.
Yeah.
Because I do, yes, I like objective.
And otherwise, I think everything's good, but we need to have public discourse and discussion on this.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've heard it many different ways. People in favor of grandfathering, people saying, no, I don't want that because people should come pay their fair share when they move in or the road can't handle it. I've heard it many different ways from the residents. So I want to be able to have discussion.
Yeah. So, good segue to setting a date for the town hall party. I'm always open, usually. I'm not going anywhere for a while.
What do you think, May? Do we do it in May, or do we need to look at this again?
Oh, I think May's good. I can, other than the planning commission meeting and probably a ZBA meeting, I'm available. Are you guys thinking to keep it on Tuesday or any day? However.
What about the 13th?
We have roads on the 14th. 13th works. Wednesday?
Wednesday, the 13th. Take Elaine's looking at the calendar.
She is, yeah.
What time?
You don't have to whisper.
The 13th is fine, but that's a Wednesday.
That's okay.
7?
I was just asking for time. What time? 7 or?
7, I think 7.
7?
6:30.
6:30. I mean, I'm good either way.
All right,
Because then
6:30.
it'll be, yeah, come 6:30, John, it's okay.
Goodbye, Dave.
Come on. We'll do 6.
John loves it, because he doesn't love it, he totals it.
All right, so how about the 13th at 6:30? Shelley, you're okay?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right, so there's your answer. 6:30 on the 13th. We're gonna have our town hall question and answer. Okay, all right, I think we can go to the next thing. So the next one. Oh, okay, so next, data center moratorium.
Where is that?
That's an action item.
Yeah.
Page
6
113.
So it's on 113, Elena?
Yes, that was where it was.
Okay. All right, yes, 113. Sri, please tell us what's going on.
I think everybody's, what I've heard, unanimously agrees data centers and battery energy storage systems have been an ongoing concern. And the Planning Commission needs time to decide, ask a couple of questions, whether it's how we want to regulate them, or if do we even want to regulate them, or do we want to just prohibit them, or do we want to direct them? What do we want to deal with it? What are the concerns? How we address it? And that takes time. And in the meantime, so that they don't rush into the process and they can focus on that, many communities have adopted a moratorium, which is an option that's provided by the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, where this one says that this would give them the protection from keeping any developments to come in during the time so that they can focus on the development of the language. In the past, when the police, if the township board has adopted a moratorium, they have been contested in the court. So just to make this a little bit more stronger, the attorney suggested that we adopt the same moratorium as a police power ordinance and also as a zoning ordinance amendment. So it's the same language, but we're just adopting it in two different forms to just give us that double layered protection while the Planning Commission works on considers the use and impacts and how we want to regulate it. So this is step one. What's in front of you is you adopting it as a police power ordinance. The Planning Commission will be conducting a public hearing like they should do for a zoning amendment next month, and then send it to you for adopting it as a zoning amendment. And then starting June, they're going to focus on the language.
This seems like it's a target for preemption.
I'm sorry, what?
This whole topic seems like it's a target for preemption. Waiting for the state to tell us that we as townships don't have right to do this.
So right now, I haven't looked in recently, but there is a court case with, oh God, I don't know, 70 townships, trying trying to figure out whether we have the right to make ordinances that don't exactly mirror the state law. Because the MPSC kind of wants to say that we don't have that right. So right now it's kind of still up in the air, but we're trying to do what everyone's trying to do, I guess.
I'm for this. I think right now is the first step. I'm willing to keep an eye on where it goes.
I do want to clarify one thing. Data centers are not part of the PA 233. They're just an animal of its own. There's no state guidance or regulation related to that. So because of the moratorium, any data center is covered under the moratorium. But for the PA Act 233 has a threshold for 50 megawatts. So if this moratorium is for something that's less than 50 megawatts. If it's more than 50 megawatts, it automatically goes to state. This moratorium is only to battery energy storage systems that are below the threshold of 50 megawatts.
I am going to try to get, I have to talk to Chris. So I know that basically many attorneys are working on like trying to figure all this out all at the same time. So I do think we need to have them come, kind of like what you guys did with the Rice Farm stuff, and have a town hall so that our attorneys can explain this to everyone. So I'll work on trying to set that up for us. But for now, I guess we just adopt this. So
I'll move to put this forward.
I'll second.
okay, further discussion. Okay, roll call. Shelley, please.
Aye.
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 Okay, all ayes. Thank you. All right, next. Now going to the WCRC agreement. Would you like?
I guess I can. I'll start with Tony. Tony, it looks like you've confirmed my numbers. Are you happy with where we land?
Seems to be.
Yeah, so, all right, so I talked to John, this wasn't done ad hoc, so John and I went back and forth, the same table you had, what, a month ago, John? So the millage, the rough numbers, the millage is 491, yeah, the interest number that's Tony used is also 5,000. So the reason I was asking that question before is we might have a little more than that, maybe really getting 2.2%, depends on what the average balance is, but my sense is the 5 is a touch conservative. So we have 23 and say call it carryover from last year. We adjusted that down 7 to account for the per diem, and that's what Tony has there. So that gives us another 16. So 491 plus 5 plus 16 gets us to 512. That's the magic number in the.
Okay.
And I'll point out, road commission's put in 151,000 this year. So we're going to do over $600,000 with the road work.
Oh.
All right, there will be an option, they'll come back to us, it's in the contract, if they get 50% through, if there's any adjustment as to how far they can get down Gregory, and if we want to talk pricing again, because something came up, we'll have another opportunity there.
Okay. All right.
You need a motion?
We need a motion.
If I may.
Yep.
So, Elena and I were not together today, but we both essentially, I guess, this is your work, isn't it, Elena, or is it Tony's? This report that you put on our table tonight?
Yeah, we worked on this together.
Yeah, so they caught one thing I didn't catch, which was that we had put $100 in the budget for mileage for the road committee members. But we did adopt a budget at the last meeting, and there's two different printouts on this. Mine does not include the $100 for mileage. But the budget that we adopted was for $499,245 for road maintenance and repair. And if that's what we go with, and the other numbers in the budget stay like they are, that leaves us a financial safety factor of about $13,200. But that is a smaller number than what the current agreement is written for. 499, 245 plus 151 is 650, 245. And so what I think the decision that this body has to make is, do we want to have $0 safety factor in our financial plan? And if the answer to that is yes, we have to make a budget amendment. Personally, I think that we adopted a thoughtful budget. It is a deficit budget of $10,000 already, which we've budgeted to spend 102% of our revenue. But that gives us a safety factor of about $13,200.
Well, I talked to John, I guess, with all due respect, John, we talked about this at length, and I did that a month and a half ago to avoid this issue. But I think the consideration for the board is my numbers shows that we should have extra there and be positive. If we have to make a move in a month or two, we have two options. We could adjust this down when we talk to them as to how far they go down Gregory Road. So if we need another 10K back and cushion, it's easy to address there. Or the board could make it as we could amend the budget. My suggestion is we adopt it as it is now, get the road commission started, and then we can deal with our internal budgeting thereafter.
Oh, wait, that brings up so we talked about adding language as to putting up to?
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed?
Yeah, it's, well, hold on.
I think it would be on the bottom of page 98. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead.
And it would be not to exceed 511 and 51.
Yeah, fine. We can do that here. Adam's going to come back to us in 2 months after he gets into the project and talk to us about if we want to make some budgeting constraint. Because originally, when I started talking with John, we had the other 30K that we appropriated last year that's been stripped out of here. If you put that back in, the global number goes from 663 to like 690. In fact, I think I've copied you, Tony, on some of that back and forth.
And I think that we really need to have some limiting languages on.
Fine.
That's all. Not to, and if we put in a not to exceed or whatever year,
Can
then
you put your mic closer to?
I'm sorry. We'll put in some language here that it says the estimated amount to be paid by Webster Township during 2026 would not, something about not to exceed 511.
Yeah, shall not exceed or will not.
And then I understand that they'll come back to us and talk to us once they get a better handle on their costs. But I would feel more comfortable if we had something in there.
Fine.
Okay. Shelley,
I was just gonna ask a question. I feel like in the past, the road commission has come back and we've traditionally paid less, right? So there is the possibility that we will have a little bit left.
Well, so this contract was written, so whatever they have left is to keep going east on Gregory.
Okay.
So that, because last time it was clumsy, we didn't get to it in whatever, like September, and we talked about it, and there was a motion in October, then it started raining like crazy, and we didn't do anything.
Okay. No, that makes sense too.
That's the very last paragraph on page 98, Shelley. It's the Gregory Road here on River to Cobble Lane. And that's where it talks about going as far as the money holds out.
Yeah, ideally right now, the rough schedule for the audience is to start on Huron River Drive on Gregory and see if we can get all the way up Cobble Lane. There's a chance if there's more money, we just keep going easy. But we'll know that. Because last year there was a savings of $110,000. That's what it worked out.
Right.
And they ended up putting the extra 60 on, extra 3 inches of limestone on Strawberry Lake. And so there was an extra 50 that came back to us.
I'd just like to mention that a resident came in this morning to the window and he lived on Chamberlain Road. And I was very pleased to be able to show him that his road is right there on our list. And he asked me to ask you to ask the road commission if they will do Chamberlain Road as soon as possible.
Get my phone number.
Okay, so Shelley, are you okay with the modification of the not to exceed part?
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
I have one other topic, if I may. Okay. So there's a project on here for $77,000 for a series of small roads. It's all for one little subdivision. I think there's 13 parcels that are served. I looked at two different maps from the county. One shows that these are public roads and one shows that they're not public roads. And I reached out to the road commission and I was unsuccessful in connecting with anyone. I don't know what the source material is that they use for what, in fact. Is this a public road? Is this a private road? And I have a concern that if we put a project in here and it turns out that these are private roads, that we might set a precedent that we can't keep up.
Okay. And I talked to you, and so you talked to...
Yeah, well, remember originally, that resident came in, it wasn't on our spreadsheet.
Right.
So I called Adam and asked him what gives, and he told me at that time it was public. And that's when I sent this to him. And they've been pretty good about it.
And yeah, thank you. And then Sri, because I asked Sri today, so Sri took a look too. So we also think it's public. I mean, after looking at the diagram that's next to Jim.
Well, there is a road commission map that shows it's public. There's also a road commission map that shows it's not public.
Did you see the dates? Because the one we looked at is the current one.
They're both in the current packet for Webster Township for this year, published on their website today.
I can follow through and then reconfirm, but I'm pretty sure.
My core question is, what is the route, where is the route information?
I'll find an answer.
I would propose getting these guys started. And again, if we're gonna have another discussion with this as they get started. I'll find out Monday.
Okay.
Confirm.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow.
Yeah.
In the meantime, is there some language we need before we pass this to sort of strike that if it's not public?
I don't
know if
I
there's
don't think
We
so.
don't need to?
I think we can just, at that point, we have to modify our contract because we can't pay for it.
It's
And we don't, yeah.
Yeah, right, it's not
So-
a state law.
Right, yeah. So I think we're okay. I mean, I really, I think
I'm good.
It's not only that, the road commission won't do work on it if it's private.
Yeah.
So it
And
won't
yet,
get
if
done.
this is their document.
I think they do plow one of the entries that's not a public road that goes into the Base Lake. Base Lake or Base
They
Lake?
may plow it.
Yeah.
Road
They
work
do.
is it's an entirely different beast.
All right.
Okay.
So,
So I have
got
a
a second?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay, further discussion.
We're gonna need to make a budget amendment.
Yes, so we'll set that up for, if we need it. Okay.
Well, and with, I'm gonna say, I know we historically have gotten money back, or they've
But we
overestimated.
wrote the language so that will not happen.
I'm aware. What I'm gonna say is, don't expect to get much back, especially if our diesel prices stay the same, because a lot of what we're paying for here is hauling.
Right.
And the semis, they cost a lot.
Okay, let's see, so this, money, roll call. John?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Take estimate, okay.
Mike, if I may. Do you guys have any questions for me? May I leave?
I don't think.
I can stay back if needed.
No, I think that's, yeah.
I just have one comment. Happy birthday, Grant.
Oh, no. God, you have to tell us.
Thanks for choosing us to spend your birthday night with.
Today.
Best birthday ever.
You realize that you are obligated so that, because we like cake. So we would have.
Well, that's actually coming.
Where's the chocolate bomb cake?
We will set it up. Whenever you want to come in, Brand, we will have chocolate bomb cake. Okay. All right, so, where am I? back to pay estimate. So, we have an estimate in the packet. Chuck is not here, so two of us talked about it. I will give you the understanding that I have about what this is for. And it's not, again, if there's something, I'm just going to say it right up front, if you guys are still confused, this is not something we have to do tonight, and I can have Chuck come in the next meeting, but he had somewhere to be tonight, so he said he would come, but, so this, let me find it again. Oh, that's right. So, right now, our alarm system is not talking well to the door system. That's right, it's the doors. So, if we haven't upgraded to the alarm system, I don't know exactly the problem, but I do know what this should do is, one of the things it should do is, so if you are coming in and you use your phone, when you can unlock the door and turn the alarm off at the same time. So if you wanted to come in one of these doors, you don't have to run all the way into there. We have had a problem with the doors aren't locking sometimes when people go. I don't know if any of you had to try this. I'm sure Shelley did. We have like a diagram about you've got to turn this and that. And a couple times it has not worked quite right. This would also allow Chuck to literally lock the doors from home, or any of us. Like if Shelley's like, oh, I don't know if I did it. You know, she could do that. I know, and it's like, so that's where,
This is remote stuff.
it's remote stuff.
It's handy. I mean, I use it for all work.
I forgot about it until you just said it. I used it before and it's pretty cool.
So John, is this a real line item in the budget for this?
I
It
don't
would
know.
have to be repair and maintenance building under Township Hall.
I think there's $82,000 in that line, if I remember correctly.
I'm all for this. This is fine. Thank you.
I'd like to discuss it. I wish we had a little bit more time.
No problem. So I will bring it back. It's
I'm
not.
very skeptical with stuff that's run off your phone.
Okay. Okay.
It's
And
too easy to hack.
all right. So we will, if it's okay with everyone, I will postpone this and we'll take it next month too. And I'll have Chuck come. We'll put it up in the front so he can come.
Can I ask a question now that you're, so, right now, it unlocks the door, the app does? Is that what you just said? It just sets the alarm, right? The little key fobs that we have that unlock the front door.
Right. That'll let you in.
Yeah, it doesn't unlock anything else in the building, just the front door?
We're gonna have the other two outside doors also have that.
But not the door into the office itself?
Correct.
Okay, just checking.
And it doesn't turn the, and it will let you in, but then in order for you to open the building for a meeting, you have to do all the weird stuff with the two red lights, or the red light. Yeah. Wrong thing. Okay, I will bring it back. All right, MTA Principles of Governance. So that is on 103 and 104.
This is like, I like apple pie and I love my mom.
I'm not sure.
It's an ethics policy in a package from MTA, is what it amounts to.
It's not a policy.
No,
It's a
not.
pledge.
It's a pledge, so.
Yeah.
It's a pledge, but, I mean, I think Mr. Stevens hit the nail on the head. I mean, what's gonna be behind this, you know?
Not, this is, yeah, it's not a policy, it's just basically us saying that this is what we're committing to do.
Well, I don't have any problem signing it, personally. I think that's probably what we all figure we should be doing anyway.
Some of the language shows up a little bit in the current ethics policy. First, I want to read it.
So it's funny, I mean, I've been places, and this is usually, I've just seen it reversed, and this is the kind of stuff you see on the wall that says guiding principles.
Yes.
It's a plaque in the lobby.
Yeah, it's a plaque in the lobby.
Correct.
This is most of the time exactly what that is.
Yeah.
And we got this how? Did they send it to us?
Yes, it came through the mail from the MTA.
It says in the first paragraph, encouraging every township, well, and so on and so forth. I'm fine with it. I think more of this is.
So weirdly enough, we can't force each other to sign it.
No.
So I think we kind of should have been discussion, and it's like, okay, if you'd like to sign it, there'll be one in the other room. So if you leave it at that, and, okay, I mean, I don't have a real problem with it either, but. Damn, thou shalt sign. Okay, I'll leave that at that, that's okay. Okay, physical team access policy, that's on, oh goodness, so it starts on 105. Of course, yeah, somebody has to start.
I don't know what anyone else is thinking, but Dan Monzel and I are both willing to serve.
I'm happy to serve also, but I'm not pushing for anything either. Do you have any other comments? When the meeting's done, you can like the language.
I don't think it's perfect, but I'm willing to adopt it as presented.
Tony, I thought you had some comments last meeting also, before we were.
I just wrote down, I corrected, what you see here is the draft that I corrected is all grant. And it's summarized on page 105, the changes that I made to what Chris Patterson's office sent us. It's just, they were minor, there was no,
Okay. I didn't know if you had anything else. Anything else?
I don't agree with, I don't agree with governing by committee. In this kind of a situation, it makes it very difficult for individuals if we were to have one or the other, just like a front person and an alternate, but to have two people okay something, to me is problematic. That's all. It's just my opinion. If that's what,
I didn't read it that way.
if that's what the board wants, then that's.
I think in my misunderstanding, it says that you just have to get it approved by one of the
Yeah.
designated board
Just one.
people.
But they still are the approving, they're an approving body, right?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, I hate this. Just want to say, I mean, to me, this adds a layer of bureaucracy, and I understand why we're looking at it. Don't get me wrong, I do. But to me, I mean, anytime that somebody wants to ask a question, and I will point out I have never contacted the attorneys. But the simple fact is that, I mean, going to other members and saying, hey, can I do this? I don't think it's right. And I mean, the bottom line with this, we need to be cognizant of when we make these expenditures and which attorneys we're using. And that's really, and what we're using them for. And not necessarily because we like one or the other. It's, we have a primary attorney. That's the people we should be using. And we should be cognizant of what our costs are with that. I mean, plain and simple.
But we aren't.
I know. And I don't like getting into this situation. I'm not saying that we're not going to do it. I just want to speak my piece with regards to that.
Well, to your point though, a board member doesn't need permission, they just have to copy the board. So we all know that we're contacting the attorney together, so that we're not duplicating, you know, the contact back and forth. It's really appointed officials, coding, code enforcement, zoning, assessor, and other civil positions that need permission from one of the designees. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that was explicitly carved out. So if you have, I mean, if you have a concern and you wanted to do that, you're fully willing.
And it has an out in case you don't think it's appropriate to contact the board. You know, to include the board for whatever reason.
So let me ask you this, in dealing or being on zoning, or being in, having people on ZBA, when they're going to be talking to an attorney, or they have something, all right, we're ready for review. We've done our stuff, we're ready for review for this. That's got to go to these people first, and then it goes to them, correct?
Yes.
So every time that there's going to be a question to the attorney from anybody other than us, it's going to them.
Yes. Except for strange things like if Elena needs something, Tony asks.
Yeah.
Because Tony's like, oh, I need that too, or whatever.
Why not? Elena can ask, deputies can ask, right?
Only if the person is not there. Does it, let me,
Yeah,
let
I
me
get
know.
you.
No, deputies can request, they just have to get permission from the designated, or to designate. We could do, part of the issue is that sometimes we're seeking legal opinion when we don't need legal opinion. MTA already provides the training or has the information we need, but we haven't asked them or we haven't gone there first. And we already paid for that, so that should be there. Is it possible that we could try this for 6 months and then come back and review if it's effective or not? And if it did save us money?
So I guess that's the question I wanted to ask about it. So again, a lot of our attorney bills are because the board has decided what we want to do with litigation, right? The other larger, I guess, scale of bills is the things that it's just bringing up with, like the PC or street asking for. I mean, we've spent a lot of money because of the way we've worked on the private road ordinance that I don't think in the next ordinance we will do. But this really doesn't deal with costs.
No.
It's the only thing that we've, as like other, okay, so obviously there's the who we use part. And if that's the actual problem we would like to solve, then I think we could do that a different way. Like, I'll just come out and say, because why not? Like, so if there is, I talked to Jeff, so I just, you know, if you would like me not to call Catherine for things, first of all, I'll tell you what, the only thing I really actually asked her for was our employment one. There's been some FOIA ones from Tony. We tried to do FOIA with Fahey. we can ask Chris to give us someone else. When Matt did one, he actually answered a FOIA for us, and he didn't ask us about how long it would take to do something. It was very quick. So, okay, so I guess I'm missing are we worried about, and then it was because I did not talk to Brant, and we were working on the same kind of thing at the same time. Which, at least now with this, obviously then we'll all know, like, okay, I asked that question already or whatever. And it seems like a lot of what the prior restraint part before I came was designed to do that. From what Rick is telling me, it's not like you can't ask, it's come to me, because it will be, the supervisor, because someone else might have already asked that question and you might be duplicating efforts. So again, I think this part for us will take care of that. I don't know. I'm just not.
Sorry, you done?
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so look, I don't want to, it's painful enough. I mean, some of the challenges that the board had at the end of last year, it started to motivate some of this. I think it's coupled with the bills have gotten large. I think my high-level comment, for whoever's name goes on here, I think we should do this, and if whoever's name goes on here is to have the attorneys, that you two, whoever those two are the gatekeepers, we start working to a budget. Budgets for litigation, all of it. Like current bills, for example.
If you look at what we passed, and I don't know that it's in here, but you can, thank you. If you look at what we passed, I think we've done it, Brent. We've broken up through the zoning budget. We've broken it up into zoning administrator / planner, legal services, which would include the PC, I think. We're a little bit fuzzy on that, but I think. The litigation piece of it is separate, and the ZBA attorney assistance, whatever the ZBA needs, that's separate. Up in the general fund township operations section, we passed a budget for that of $20,000. And I believe those are we do have a small budget for the PDR because they need review of some of their documents.
Right.
So I think that budgeting-wise, the board has expressed what they feel is reasonable expenditures. In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, that is the guiding principle there. If what's going to happen exceeds that budget, we should be talking to each other about it, in my opinion, because we're going to have some kind of a budget amendment to change these if necessary.
I'm good. All right. Sorry. Only just because, so I don't have a copy with me of what, oh, I do actually. So Elena, I think it was last month, we had kind of like a report basically about our attorney, like how much we spent and, each section. And I think that, as far as keeping track of how much we're spending, I think adding that kind of a report would be helpful for us, more helpful than some of this other stuff.
I mean, John already gives you the information, but it's dispersed. When he gives you the check register, he tells you how much has been spent and how much remains of the budget, but it's not put together in a concise manner. And I think it would be helpful to the board if, like Mike said, we had a report based on these account numbers every month to see where we are. Because this is something that is very sensitive, and it's sensitive for the board, it's sensitive for the residents. And so I think that at least for a year or so would be appropriate. 6 months.
Yes,
I'm done.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm in agreement with all that. In fact, I think we have to work the budgets. I think where the link, what wasn't said though in any of that, is that it has to be transmitted to the attorneys as to where we're at each time. Because the ones, all the smaller ones, like the tree calls, or that's not where the bills are gonna get big. I mean, look at this bill here. When you have 5 attorneys working like crazy getting ready for court, but even in that case, you know, general counsels across the country force every law firm, when they go to court, to start putting budgets together. And I think, because John has made this point before, we've been in and out of court for every year, and our average legal expenses were right around 100K going back, right, for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
We were 2x that here recently. Right, so when this was originally put together, I thought with some of the things that were going on at the end of the year, maybe it was just the time out. Mike, I think you should be on it by being the supervisor. But I was worried about some of the things I was hearing. I was like, well, maybe we need a break for that. And if you weren't on this, my comment would be, it's temporary. 6 months, a year. Things have been going great here since end of the year. Mike goes back on. But maybe we just jump to that now. I mean, I would put Shar and Mike as the 2. And my guidance to you guys would be, I'd like to make sure that when we're talking to the attorneys, we have a more formal budget on when we're in trial. You know, right now, because we've gotten estimates that vary by a couple $100K as to how you do things. You know, I tell them, Chris, this is work to this number. That means you get X number of attorneys. I don't want 10 on the bills. I mean, it's a discussion. They're going to go crazy at first, but then we're the client, and that comes back.
Okay.
I was just gonna mirror agreement with that, with the exception of, I really do not think that we should be using Catherine as an attorney.
Yeah,
I think
here,
we have
I agree.
to eliminate use of Catherine. When I look back at the bills for Catherine, everything we paid Catherine to do, Fahey could have done, or MTA could have done. So that's sort of become a conflict of interest. I think we just, and we monitor the bills, and in addition to monitoring the bills, we make sure that attorneys don't come to ZBA meetings where it's not, where they're not actually seeing a case, so to speak. You know what I mean? They don't need to come to those too. I think that would say something else.
Right. Well, and I'm okay with not using Catherine.
You okay with working with John?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I was working with John. And I really think, like, I mean, again, this was one of those, like,
I didn't want to ask you.
it is, right, okay. So, and of course, yes, I would like to do one of the 2 people. It's kind of strange, but I look at the bills anyway, and,
All right, so shall we go
But
to
this is talking about looking at before the bills. Almost all this discussion has been, what are we going to do in terms of our reactiveness to high bills? I see the purpose of this is to not have those high bills by making it clear to the attorneys and keeping track and making reports so that we are limiting unnecessary or overuse of attorneys.
Yeah, and that's the check and balance as a board member. I'd like you guys to make sure that happens. Because it's a potential, if it's just one, there isn't a check and balance. And as a board member, that's what I would like.
and you don't, and again, this was one of those things, like, and I understand Shelley's point. If it can't just, there has to be a backup for, I don't think we need it. Someone else has to be the backup for, I don't think we need it.
Did we try these different things
Right.
first? Yeah.
And I mean, it does make logical sense for the person who keeps the most eagle eye on the money. Should actually help keep the eagle eye on the money because it's a huge expense. And we can work on, we could work on together anytime we would like about how to kind of get our message across to Fahey about, I think he's kind of getting the idea, like some of the things I'm getting copied on, some of the stuff from like, with Shri and Jeff doing it, he's going, it'll cost you this much. And like, that's what we need. I think like, so that's working out pretty good, I think.
My understanding is that's exactly how Kingsley used to do it. He would call them and say, I need this answer, but I'm only giving you this much money to
Right,
get it
and
from me.
Again,
So
right?
they should be somewhat accustomed to
I am
setting limits.
Right.
And I promise you, Randy Rayford or Bruce Penzia were not emailing with the attorney at 10 o'clock at night, back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, but even, honestly though, John, I mean, the big item that we're spending is not bad. I mean, to put that on a sheet is not fair. The big item we're spending, if you look at the bill, just look at this bill here. You know, we have big numbers of multiple attorneys. And some of those there, if you go pick through all that math, it's down in the reasonable.
But Tammy, you missed the last closed session meeting we had, but Tammy made it clear to me that they knew that they were using more time to do things than they should be. And she was talking about Chris preparing discounts for us, but looking at what we have in our packet tonight, I didn't see big discounts in there.
It's not a big
There's discounts, but not big ones.
Yeah, but it's not to disclose other things, but I've also talked to Tammy and Chris since I did miss that meeting. I reacted to the email that was sent out that I thought was incomplete.
Right. But then you talked to her.
Yeah, I talked to her at night. I copied Mike.
Right.
All right.
How much did that cost?
Well, he needed to know. He wasn't there, and he's right. It wasn't written in the thing about how much the estimate was. If we were going to do that particular course of action. Without talking about that course of action.
He actually, Chris called me actually.
Okay.
So we should write it off. Okay.
I'd also like to see, I mean, come out of this, us get an idea of when we do a text amendment, based on how much it is. Like, is it a paragraph? Is it, you know, a whole document? If we can start to get an idea or a database together of, it generally will cost this much for us to do that.
Okay.
So when we ask for the PC to actually change something, we know that part of that procedure is going to be X legal.
Yeah,
And so we can plan on it, you know, but we don't have any kind of database or anything like that.
No, not yet.
I would like to see that.
And for, again, just for our next ordinance, I think before we start, we'll have to come up with a system that we want as far as what work do we want to do and when do we send things to the attorney, and or if there's something in the middle that's really needs, that's fine. But you know, like there's a rule we want to do. And I think the PC has worked on that, like, system.
That's what John wants more spread.
Yeah, all this gets solved. If we do a running count, as Tony's pointed out, on where we're at each month budget-wise, these questions start answering themselves. The big ones is on the truck.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll move that Shar and D'Angelo are the two members for this policy.
I would say, for the members who are going to be the representatives, I would say Shelley and Munzel. Munzel has already committed. For if we were to do the, if we were to adopt this, are we talking now about adopting this?
Absolutely.
We are.
Absolutely. I would say Shelley, because she has access to all sorts of other topics than enforcement, which we need some expertise on. And she might be able to point us in different directions. And I would say Munzel, because...
Are you sure you want to do this to me? I'm not really with that. I'm okay with Shelley, I really am, but
not Munzel?
well, no, I have to be one of them,
Why?
or I will not work it. And that's okay. If I don't vote yes, that's okay.
Okay.
But the problem, the thing is, like, if I don't know, I approve things, including the attorney bills. If I don't know what's going on.
You would always know what's going on, Mike, because we would have reports that have to be given, but if that's how you feel, then D'Angelo and Versick.
We're
gonna have a fight over who won it.
John's the treasurer, you guys are all in the office, it makes sense that the three of you do it, I like the idea of the treasurer doing it. We're gonna have a new clerk coming in here in a couple months.
Hey. Until she comes in, you're looking at her,
I understand that.
okay?
But
It's 8 months.
if you were staying, Tony, it'd be a coin flip between the three of you. Mike would have to be one, and I'd flip the coin.
So I'd still like to see a sunset on it. Maybe through election and then we readdress it.
Okay, we can have that too.
But I mean, to get us on the right track, get the things and see where it's going and then revisit it. That's all.
Well, we can come back to this at any time, right?
And I don't think, go ahead. I was gonna say, I don't think Mr. Munzel would be heartbroken if he did not have that duty.
So,
I'm just surprised he volunteered because he stretched very.
I know, I was surprised by that too. I was taking advantage of that.
Was it all do it if I have to kind of
I
thing?
didn't talk to him. John talked to him.
So I'm gonna poke my head in with this. I love John, but I am poking my head in with the Shelley too, because with the other resources,
That's,
I think Shelley is would be good at finding. I mean, like if the MTA thing said, like FOIA for MTA is horrible, but if the MTA is something else, then, right? But I will leave my comments to they're both good choices. How about that? So.
That can just be a discussion if there's an alternative, that's all.
And I don't care if I just go to Shelley and go, what can I use instead? We're all trying to save money.
We're talking about the bills.
Right.
So this then, because that is true, I do have access to a lot of resources and things to find, but could it, back to the, I don't know. I mean, because if we're gonna enact this, right, then this means that I have to be very vigilant about every day checking in case somebody needs an attorney.
they have to
Or they
contact
call
you,
you.
Shelley.
Yeah, or they can call me. Call me would be very good.
Well, it's emphasized in this document, email is the best most.
Well, yeah, because of the written piece of the puzzle, yeah.
I like the idea of John's here every day. He's looking at the bills.
The part that I like about John doing it is that I know he'll keep close track of, he'll get the job done in terms of how much does it cost to make a text amendment? How much does it cost to, that doesn't rule out, including if you need something, you can come to me and I can see if I have an alternative, way to get it before we contact the attorney. Because I'm always supportive of not contacting the attorney when we have free resources somewhere, we need something.
All right, so I'll stick with the motion, then I'll move that D'Angelo and Sharp for the two members with this board.
Oh, wait, so Jeff would still like, do you want to revisit it? Or we could, we don't have to.
Sunset.
We don't have to sunset, I think we're right. Did you?
We don't have to, we can just revisit it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do we need to put on the record as part, I don't know if we need to do this or not, but that we weren't going to use Gafford anymore?
We can, I mean,
Because it won't be.
or we can do a separate motion.
Yeah, because
I
it
mean,
won't be in the minutes unless we.
Why don't I have a separate motion?
Okay.
Handle it here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So I was.
Okay, yes, do your,
Second.
second, okay, more discussion. John, who's now stuck. Okay, it's ordinance, or policy, right? So roll call, Shelley.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That was easy.
Now, all right, so I'm not exactly sure how to do this because we didn't amend the agenda to do it, but I don't think we have, there's everyone for. Would you like to make a motion not to use capital?
I would like to make a motion that we no longer, remember her last name.
How about Hopkins?
Hopkins.
It is Hopkins, okay. That we no longer use Catherine Hopkins as our attorney.
How about you specifically say that we notify her that she's no longer our
Oh, that's
attorney?
nicer.
Oh, yeah, we'll do
That we
that.
notify Catherine Hopkins that we're no longer using it.
Okay,
Second.
However, per the contract says.
okay. This one probably just aye, or all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, all right, thank Now, we are going to, let's see where the fun part is. Oh, okay, so, Historical Society Support Agreement. Okay. Jeff, and then after this, we can take a break if we need to. So let me know, Jeff. Okay. Ready for it.
So this is all this contract review is what you're asking us here?
So we did the agreements with, let's see, Wave and the Senior Center, but the one for the Historical Society wasn't ready yet. So in the packet, there is an authorization to allow DITA to sign this agreement from the Historical Society. And then we have to decide whether we want to enter this agreement. So, and Melina gave us that too.
I have a couple of points. You know, in my role as the president of the senior center, I see how municipalities sometimes struggle when they have more than one institution in the same municipality. The Webster Township Historical Society has come to us now for the first time, the second time if you include the $22,000 for the walkway. But for the first time for more or less general funding, and not a small amount. And I wonder what consideration we want to make, if any, regarding the Dexter Historical Society, which is also inside of Webster Township. And I don't know, because I haven't seen their financials, but I believe they're a much larger organization, financially speaking. And so I don't know what kind of expectation we might be creating in that regard.
What do you think? Where are you come forward?
Well, their projects tend to be 7 figures. So they've never asked us for anything.
There's a specific law, though, that says, because generally we can't give away money unless there's a particular reason where it benefits and I think there is a particular law about historical.
No, we can. Yeah, I'm not saying we
but,
can't. I'm saying, like, for example, Webster Township has 2 senior centers.
Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is, although the Historical Society is in Webster Township, technically, for Dexter, it's not benefiting our residents directly, is it? That's where I'm getting at. Whereas the Webster Historical Society is doing things in Webster that is benefiting Webster.
Okay.
I don't know what the Dexter Historical Society.
Okay, so I think, yes, the Dexter Historical Society is more, I mean, it's kind of strange, right? It kind of technically benefits us because we are people who could go and do things just like the other people, but it's not as direct of a benefit. I have seen, we haven't given money to the Dexter Historical Society. It was really small, like 1,000. They never asked for anything. I think
historically we've given like 350.
Yeah, it's just not very much.
For records maintenance.
And if they wanted to come and ask, I think we'd have to deal with, well, first of all, we'd have to change the budget because there's nothing in there for them for right now. But I guess I'm a little missing because I'm kind of with Shelley. What are we worried about, John?
Well, if I'm on the board of the Dexter Historical Society and I get wind of what Webster's doing for the Webster Historical Society, I'm coming here with my hand out as well.
Okay. Well, they haven't yet.
Is the Historical Society located in the house, in the mansion? Is that where it is?
Yeah.
Is that what, and that's, okay.
It's the old Woods Hall, right?
Yeah, it's the house.
Used to be a University of Michigan property.
Yeah. Gordon, thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to ask a question of Dita, please. I guess I have to text.
I'm sorry, I'm just here in case anybody has any questions about anything. As far as, you know, we are in the Webster, and even though Gordon Hall is, they're totally different type of, what we do, we do for the community, for people in our area. We the Gordon Hall is more like maintaining its buildings, doing Christmas parties or whatever. We do things where we try to help the community. We have Men's Monday, we do a lot of socialization kind of things. So we're not competing with Gordon Hall, and just because we are asking for it, they don't do what we do, and we don't do what they do. So when you really think about it, the amount of money we're just asking for is for general maintenance, general fund. You heard my presentation before, and you have the spreadsheets of what we are talking about. It's pretty much to help maintain, because these are old buildings, and maintaining them is not cheap or easy. And we're kind of hoping that the township, because we're right next door, would help us. We didn't ask for anything before because we weren't doing as much before. And so that's basically where we are. I mean, I pretty much said before what it was for, but I don't think just by granting us this help, it's going to affect anything anywhere else.
So it doesn't, what you're trying to say is it doesn't obligate us to do something.
Anything to anybody.
To anyone else, okay. And that's what I kind of thought. I mean, again, if they come, we're going to talk about, right? I'll put it on the agenda, we can see what they would like to do it, use it for, and whether it'll help us out or
And they have to go through the same
And we did that,
process.
Well,
And we did that.
Right, yeah, these guys, yeah, but I mean,
I don't want to discount what they do, because that
No.
thing is really important, the school kids go to it.
Yeah.
There's, undergraduate adults, there's a lot there,
I'll move this forward.
No, I have another point.
I'm sorry.
Second of two,
Sorry.
if I may. So DITA was one of three organizations, or representing one of three organizations that stood up and asked us for our support. And all three are organizations that by law we're entitled to support as long as they directly benefit our residents. But one thing that's very different between the Historical Society and the other two organizations is that the other two organizations have had financial audits. And I can say with strong certainty that they're very fiscally responsible and they're managing their funds. So I don't know that I can say that about the Historical Society, and I want to. So I would like to ask this board to consider one of the requirements that could be added to the agreement is that the Historical Society gets an audit.
I don't,
I'm sorry, Dina.
oh,
Okay, so, okay. I have something to say about it. Only, so audits are expensive, and if we're giving them $30,000 and they have to blow 20 of it on an audit, I mean, I think we could come up with a way to look at their books that's different, I mean, something else. If we're in here, the reporting document, we're asking them to give us reports about the types of services and maintenance provided, measurable outcomes, and the number of communities served.
it's already in the contract.
That part. So if you want to add something about whether you spent the money on, we could ask for something like that that wasn't quite as expensive to the Historical Society as an audit, that would also let us look at there.
I do think an official audit won't be as much. You can get, because it's a small
Probably would be
program.
about 13. 13,000.
I think it would be less than that.
Do you?
Yeah, because they don't have a ton of things to audit. They're not, and in the future, forward-looking, they would need that audit to apply for grants and get bigger funding sources.
It would benefit.
Is this the right time for it? I don't know, but.
I don't think so.
Okay, wait, so I'm gonna ask Dita, because I don't know, because you're applying for grants, what?
I was never asked for an audit. In all the grants to anybody, they do ask you know, what do we want the money for? And you have to go in detail. If it's building a structure, you have to know exactly how much that is and all of that. Then when you get funded for this, you definitely have to provide a quarterly statement, show receipts, do all of that. But never in the 2 years that I've been there have I been ever asked for an audit. And we got, you know, quite a larger amount of money, you know, for the walkways and everything than $30,000. So I'm just saying, you know, I mean, you can decide either way you want to, but I think this is, we're trying to, a lot of the grants that we do, and we do write grants and we get grants and do all of that kind of stuff, but a lot of these grants are specifically for specific projects. Because grants will come up, okay, historical things, you gotta do this. We got a grant for the archives, for instance, for all the digitizing equipment. So we got money for that. So we sent receipts, we showed, you know, how much, and, you know, the person that we hired to help put it together and do all of that. We have to, when we do our quarterly reporting, we have to have all of that to give it to them. And then at the end of the grant, then you do the whole thing, including how it affected the society, your successes, all of this. So, and, you know, I mean, we are not a huge, you know, senior center, 200,000, 600,000, 500,000 for Gordon Hall. We barely have a budget of 100 grand to be able to pay for electricity, for chimneys coming down. We have to do all of that. So do we have to wait for a grant? The reason why we came to you, because we felt as part of the Webster Township, we are doing a service for the community. There are no parks or anything that Webster Township has. So, you know, I thought it would definitely take a little bit of pressure from us so we can move forward and try to focus on providing more things for our people and neighbors. Not get caught up in paperwork and paperwork. We are a voluntary organization. We can hire people to do that, but we try to run as frugally as possible to keep the lights on and to provide the services.
Okay.
So, anyway.
Okay, thanks, Tina.
I think John's points are all taken. I think it's a discussion probably best served a meeting or two ago during the budget. So again, I'll move this forward as written.
That was the motion.
I'm moving forward with something.
Seconded.
Okay. All right, further discussion.
Yes.
Because I see Jeff first.
I was going to register a complaint for the Webster Historical Society since you are here. I find men's coffee to be offensive. I'm the only one who's ever going to say that out loud. But I ran for office, and men's coffee was a place where politicians, people who were running for office, could go and pitch their point and have a discussion, and I was not allowed to go there because I'm a woman.
What?
That's true. If you even insinuate that you want to go to men's coffee and you're a woman, there is a giant ruckus about it.
That's true.
That is true.
But we do have a women's group.
Wait. Okay, wait. Shelley, first, before we go to 10, I think you dropped something under your, I don't know if it's something,
Oh, thank you.
because it looks squishable.
This is the chair.
Oh, okay. God, please.
Anyway, that's it. That's my official complaint that now you've heard.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, well, Connie was.
Yes, Connie was very upset too.
You
Okay.
know, it's interesting, you're not the first one I've heard that from, but they do have a women's group that's women.
Yeah, they do have a women's group that's women where I could just talk to the women but not to the men when I'm running for office here.
Yeah, and I can't.
Yeah, what is the women's group? What does the women's group mean? Do you know what it is?
All right.
Only when my wife tells me.
Yeah.
Wait.
So,
First of all, yeah, hold on. First, I will just wait. First, I will just say one thing. We should go to the Historical Society meeting and complain. That's the one thing.
let's do
John, please.
May I ask you a
Yes.
question?
Yes.
Dita, could you inform us how often your board reviews written financial statements?
Once a month.
Once a month.
Every month.
Okay.
Every month, so basically, we used to do it on spreadsheets. Last year, what we're doing, and we have an accountant doing it every month. Last year, to save money, when we hired an accounting firm to help set up the QuickBooks. Right now, that's what we are using in our board, which means once a month we have a discussion meeting, so we have 2 meetings a month. And we get all the printouts of all the expenditures, all the receipts to back them up and everything. I think we have been very professional, very thorough, even before this program, before we started using the program to do that. And the reason why we decided to do the program, because we want to make sure that all our grants, if you guys agree to help us, it would be on a separate, under its own category, which every receipt and everything will give us a running total of what the money, where it was spent, on what, with whom, and, so even though we're little, but we're fierce.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the motion, Rick, you got something, okay.
So,
Okay.
we got a second.
We have a motion.
Yeah, we got a motion, we had a second for
Yeah.
the discussion.
Right, yeah.
I just wanted to say the big change in Historical Society this year was they added an administrative person, correct?
That's correct.
To the tune of about $30,000,
That is
correct?
correct.
And that we're paying $30,000. And I understand what you said it was for, 20,000 for maintenance, 10, or about
Yes.
9,000. I don't have the breakdown in front of me, Dita, but I'm pretty certain it was 20,000 for maintenance, 9,000 for that person, and then another another 1,000 or something for something else. But literally, we're paying for the administrative person. Because you have that person and you're paying them out of pocket, we're picking up the maintenance. So I would assume you're not gonna have us picking up the maintenance every year.
No, well,
I mean-
so let me just say real quickly, so part of it, and I have it here, it was $15,000 for capital restoration and
Yeah.
repairs. It was, the admin salary was 9,000, the share of that, and another 5,000 was for Past Perfect, maintaining the software, doing more archive, that's all inclusive in digitizing all the archives, and we hold a lot of the township documents. So, keeping it online, keeping it accessible. And then what we are doing right now is putting a lot of these things in safe sleeves to protect them from UV. You have to get acid-free boxes, to keep everything.
You're talking historical pictures and
Exactly.
things like that, just historical record, not necessarily township records per se.
Not just township records, okay? Because we have all the voting registration from the township and tax rolls and all of that kind of stuff. So we have that in our
The
possession.
very, very old ones.
Yes, like 1832. And so we're going to digitize all of that. And so there is about $5,000 that is just for archives only.
So my point was, like, 19,000, 5,000, that's 24,000, that's stuff that should be done this year. So, we may not have this 30,000 next year.
Right.
Okay. Other discussion? All right, we have a motion, a second, and money. Shelley, please.
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. All right, so this one is something that's kind of strange. It's resolution to correct, this is Rick Nieper's wage, property inspector's wage. So it was recommended to me by Bill that he has, I guess Rick hasn't had a raise for a while. And so in the budget itself, he's making 25 now. I had moved, the budget is now budgeted for $27 an hour for him, but we never did the resolution the same way we did the rest of the employees. So this is kind of a leftover thing from April that we didn't do. So.
Okay. Did a resolution, was it too low or?
No, well, it wasn't for him. Like, so he wasn't listed as one of all the ones that we went through. He wasn't one of them. So, okay, sure. But, so that's where this is from.
I'm good with this.
Okay.
But the money was figured into the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Any concerns? All right, I'll move resolution 26-15.
Second.
Okay. Other discussion? Okay.
I just would like to echo what David Daly said earlier. I really do think that going forward, we need to be more disciplined about having a basis for the rates that we're paying that's a market rate. Agreed?
Well, I have something to talk about with that at the board stuff at the end. Because I have an idea. But yes. Okay. So, all right. So, motion. Roll call vote. So, Jeff, please.
Aye.
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 Okay. Thank you. MTA subscription renewal.
I move that we approve, we renew the subscription at the premium pass level.
Second.
I said
Rock, paper, scissors. What?
You give it to Sharp.
No. Jeff gets it.
So you guys get this.
All right.
You know, I'm just all happy. It seems like there's been changes at MTA. When I used to call, I got great results or great feedback every time. And I never used to hear, go call your attorney. A couple of times I call now, I start asking follow-up questions. The conversation turns short and go call your attorney. So thanks.
We do use.
But I guess on the training and everything else, you all are happy?
Yeah, I purchased their conference virtually. And so if you'd like to see
This
anything.
week?
Yeah, the one that they're at. No, not all the sessions, but
Okay.
whatever they're recording. And we can come in and watch them at your leisure.
Okay.
So just let me
That's all I
know.
have.
So we can still see Bill in the audience having a great time.
Maybe, I don't
You better
know.
see Bill in the audience.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. So, any other discussion? Okay. Roll call. Shelley. Aye.
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 Okay. So now I'm asking a question. Would you guys like to take a couple minutes break,
I
or
want to take a little bit.
all right, give us, I don't know, 6, 7 minutes?
Folks, I have to take off. I'd like to bring something to your attention in regards to your, trying to stop the batteries in the data centers. I urge you to take a look at Public Law 92-500, Clean Water Act, and I think you'll find the language in there that will help you stop the state from forcing this upon you.
Well, if you want to call, sorry, are you a resident?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you call me and Sheree.
Okay.
Because
All right.
Sheree's kind of.
And also, in regards to the remedy I said I'd bring, my associates and I, a lot of the language I heard from the others was about costs. We can show how to defer those costs. There won't be any out-of-pocket for anybody on any of these projects. We can show you how to do that. So, food for thought.
I'm good, I don't have my hot flash right now.
Great meeting, guys.
Thank you for coming. I know it's not the most fun thing you could be doing.
But you keep coming back.
Got all the information I needed.
Oh,
right.
thanks.
Wow.
St. Joseph's Festival
In July?
in July.
Mm-hmm.
Was that going to be, is that approved or?
Yeah, they come and they ask us for a permit. Then we'll-
We've asked for a permit. That's why I was here to find out.
It didn't come to us yet.
It hasn't come to us yet.
see it yet.
You should have gotten it 2 weeks ago.
And we didn't.
Unless it came after the board packet went
Yeah,
out.
if
It
it-
could have
if
come
it-
out after the board packet, then we don't have it, we have to wait.
If it arrived after, yeah. Did you mail it or did someone drop it?
It was dropped off.
Okay, do you have a copy of it?
I do.
Let me take that and make a copy for us, and we will hunt it down or use your copy. Let me go run it through our copy machine.
Certainly.
Didn't recognize you with the beard.
Yeah, amen.
Good, how you been?
Good.
Been a while, huh?
Yeah, a little while.
We haven't seen you for a year and a half.
About a year.
Yeah, things going well?
Yep.
How's your road?
Not bad.
A road shit. Yeah. Ours turned in, I'm on Jennings, and it's turned into like a one
Yeah, I've
lane.
heard people talking about it.
Well, you know, the frost comes out. The funny thing is people complain, and I mean, the frost comes out, they can't grade, and then we've had, I mean, a week away. So, other than paving them, what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
But some of the stuff is, I mean, the roads that we kind of work on, put more base on, and all that other stuff, they've been holding up pretty well. So, you know, we're starting to come out Gregory and get all these other ones. I don't know what you guys scheduled for. So, but
I haven't looked at this schedule.
yeah, there is a schedule, so we put it out and got it down on when certain areas are going to be done, so people know when we're looking at doing it. It seems to be working, most of the stuff that we did, Walsh.
How much more time?
So we did Walsh.
So, yeah.
Here in River.
Maybe I should go to the restroom.
Yeah, oh yeah, go ahead.
You do the DFT?
You'll see.
DFT
You'll see.
is that like?
I think so. I don't think it'll be very long.
No, I.
We went on a 10-year,
It was gonna be.
10-year rotation.
Well, Dan and I were just gonna talk about our last meeting, and then whatever.
It goes up as time goes up, so the costs. But, it seems like part of the problem is the regulation has not, hasn't really had the funding to do that. It's still work is coming out, so most of these things are like 9 feet of gravel. And so,
How was the culvert on DC now? We have, that was a pretty expensive project, wasn't it?
so the one on Steve, I'm not sure if they're done. They did some clearing over there, and I know that's what she was all about as well. They did, you know, it looks like hell, a lot of times, they come up, especially if they use the blower, they do grind, so they just chop. I mean, it usually covers up when stuff starts growing. I don't know how big the area was gonna be. And it didn't look to be like pretty close to it. So I think they're still scheduled.
Are they going to a bigger size culvert or is it?
See, part of the problem is DEQ, and this is when we're looking at.
How does it put off?
We got the one on the wall.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost us half a million.
Then we're going to have.
DEQ is taking
This is
out.
a black
We're like, this is called. So part of the problem is the state's putting in.
Yeah, I think,
road commissions that they
you know,
have
if you start doing the math on that, it isn't.
Which means they're actually
It's
putting
not
in
going to go a million.
the C structures, you know what I'm talking about?
Think
They have
about
no
staff,
box on them, or they
staff.
have to oversize the culvert, so they essentially have a lot of
Think
box.
about is that these things don't.
And
that's, so I looked them up, I was gonna call today.
so they
Because we have to talk to them about
using culverts, especially if it's on a stream that has habitat. They have
Yeah, I was.
We don't
and I got
have,
behind myself.
I don't think road.
That is on my
commissions,
list.
but I think
Did
DEQ
you
contracts,
contract
they have
and
permanent.
they're in the Chelsea.
And so,
And Rick was saying,
yeah, they're having.
Rick, which one was it Lima that we were,
I'm getting the other problems.
one of the other townships apparently
Even for the government takes
used to be happening with
because they're short
Firehouse does look nice down there.
I know, that was.
So how much did they pay for it?
Good talking to you, Mark.
It's a closely guarded secret. They sold $8.5 million worth of bonds and they went over budget. I gotta say at least $3 million, but I think it might be
Like
more.
at the corner.
Lonnie
Where this goes.
Lonnie was in one of our meetings for summer. He said,
I assume you
Yeah,
read
that
that.
wouldn't be surprising.
That's big. Remember we used to know how much we
Did you notice how much sand they brought in?
Yeah.
They brought in half a seashore. Maybe all of a seashore.
You understand, have the rough chat with her.
yes, and they swear up and down.
I know she is.
I
know.
last because of all of everything.
I read that. I'm like, oh,
We gotta get Tony back.
We had, but the comments going up then.
Because she had.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
Where's Peter?
All right, so.
Mike, we cannot find that bill for the water.
It's okay, I know, all kind of how much it is.
Well,
I mean, it's done.
should have it.
he's done.
Okay, now comes the O'Neill.
Okay, so O'Neill invoice. We're back. So we're officially back. The O'Neill invoice.
This is the thing we've been bantering back and forth here for what, a couple of meetings now? Or is this a new one?
No, this is an invoice. This is for the remodel. For me, it's page 129.
It's 127 for me.
PDF page.
Right.
So we're still holding 16,000 retainage.
Well, balance unfinished plus retained.
Yeah, so this is the, right, it's the remodel, the next invoice.
Is this the very last one? No, there'll be
There'll be
60.
one more at least.
There'll be at least one more.
Okay, so they're asking for a 51.
Yeah, 51.
And it's co-signed by the architect.
So I guess I would like a motion to.
I'll move to pay it.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Okay, money, Jeff, please. Aye.
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 Okay, so now we're at the next item.
The next item was we added.
The next item is the K water softener purchase.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, water softener purchase. So, this is a strange one. I'm actually,
Is that on here somewhere?
no.
No.
So
I'm sorry.
what, so I'm just gonna give an explanation. Jeff knows because I talked to him about it, but, so we got a quote for about $2,200 to put in a new water softener system, which would allow us to then get a reverse osmosis system and get rid of, be able to, so we could use the water fountain. So what's really going on is our water softener is very old, and because we haven't changed the pre-filter ever, it's not working, right? Like, okay.
Has a softener test been done?
Yes.
And what's it doing?
It's not actually working that well. It's reducing some of the hardness and some of the iron. But if we leave the toilets, like if you come in after a weekend, the bowls are orange. So it was under the $3,500. I asked Jeff, who said, our water sucks. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And so I said, okay. And then I had heard that maybe I should ask you, ladies and gentlemen, for approval for that. So it's, I guess it would be a ratification.
How much is it?
23 or 24.
Fine.
I move that we pay for the water softener.
Will it fit in the room?
Yes, it will fit in the room. We were probably going to get rid of, actually it'll make the room better. We're going to take away one of the blue tanks.
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake.
Well, we don't have to, but okay.
I second.
We have two. So,
We have two, which means it's twice as long, and you have water after the power to the pump goes out.
And we don't have to, it's just, we could put it where the one is right now, but if we wanted more room in there.
Just replace the one that's there. I would keep the tank.
Okay, that's fine, I'll tell them that. They don't care.
So along those lines,
Yes,
if our water is actually going to be drinkable,
yes.
eventually we may want to look at replacing the drinking fountain with drinking fountain water fill bottle.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. That's a good expression, yeah.
Eventually,
Yeah.
we don't have to do it this year, but maybe
Right.
next year look at it as a, part of the building improvements or
So
whatever.
I would say that soft water is not drinkable. You're taking the calcium and the magnesium out and replacing it with sodium, and it's not healthy to drink.
Didn't say it was healthy.
We drink all the time. I'm living.
It's not healthy.
It's better than the well waters.
Yes. Jeff, you said.
And also, a water softener is not designed to take iron out, it's designed to remove calcium and magnesium.
You need iron filter.
Yep, that's.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so further discussion. Ms. Bonnie, Shelby, please.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
was that an aye, John?
It was half an
That was
hour.
half an aye. Okay.
Motion passed.
So now we have this $400 IMED thing.
if you look at, I will attack this, thank you. I'm at, this bill has not yet been paid. It has a story behind it. An agent of the township ordered work to be done by our assigned engineer, Ted Erickson, I believe it is.
Yes.
While Ted completed the work and while he was getting his report ready, is my understanding, the resident changed his mind as to whether or not he wanted to extend Fox Lane. This is where it gets quirky. The resident had left a check with our zoning administrator, who realized it was in the wrong amount, and she ultimately sent it back to him, asking for the proper amount of the $400. The resident refuses to pay. I would like to have authorization in this very strange circumstance to use township funds to pay the $400 bill that we owe IMEG. For the work done, we do have a copy of the review.
So I did nothing wrong here, right?
IMEG did nothing wrong.
Yeah, right.
No.
No, we should have an escrow amount.
We should, we
And
didn't.
we should
I was
never order work
promised,
unless we have an escrow.
Okay.
I was promised that this would never happen again. End of story.
All right.
We still owe the money.
Yeah, right, so that's an internal thing.
You're correct. So, yeah, I move to be paid on the $400.
Thank you.
Second.
Further discussion?
I wonder if we can do what the road commission and other entities do, which is to put this as a fee on this person's next tax bill or their winter tax bill.
I'm open to that also.
Is that something that we are
Legally, can we
allowed
do
to
it?
do?
It's been done. I do it for other entities. We do it routinely for unpaid water bills.
Well, I'm not sure, okay, so I'll back up for this because I know a little bit more because this gentleman called me. This is a gentleman on Fox Lane who is currently waiting for a moratorium to lift so he can split. He just basically decided to wait, pretty much. And he called because he wants to do it soon. And at that point, he will have to pay us.
Well, and I
Well,
think
other-
there should be a note on his file that says he's not entitled to do anything until he catches up on the money he owes us.
Yes, and I do think we have that on the file.
Yeah, we'd have to, I don't know where it would go, but we'd have to look at that, and I agree.
I mean, I do understand, I do know that Sri has that.
I'm sure that building module would have that capability.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah, so, I'm, based on the conversations with this gentleman, I think we're gonna go $400.
Okay.
In any case.
But either way, we do have to pay Ted, and I mean, honestly.
Yeah, we got to pay 10.
Okay.
It's not Ted's mistake.
Okay, so motion, second, and discussion, yeah, please.
Aye. Aye.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So now we're at the discussion items, right? Update on DAAFD. So I'll let John tell us whatever he would like to do after I just give a quick update about our last meeting with the city and Dexter Township. We have, I think you all have a copy of what originally was proposed as the changes from Webster Township. And then Dan worked on some other changes. We've gone to the city, the two of us and John, gone to the city. I told them after we had our last conversation, the Webster board seems to be perfectly okay with, shared runs being split, the third and the third. Dan thought maybe we might also want to consider just the fire runs being split a third and a third. There aren't that many of them, and it is one of the readiness parts of what's going on. Most of our runs are ambulances. We talked about and so we presented that to them. It's one of those strange, I talked to Dan afterwards, I really told him thank you because having him help is really crazy good. And he's basically, I'm like, this is very difficult, and he's like, yes, because we're literally negotiating against ourselves. Like, in order to do this, we have to tell our residents that they will have to pay more, right? For the same amount of service. And we're not getting a whole lot of credit for that from the city. Honestly, at this point, Brand's right. Right now we don't have to change anything. And so we've offered this. We've also said, because it was okay with you guys, I told them it would be okay with us if we went to getting $1 for our lease, having Dexter getting $1 for their lease, and the city. Sean is not into that because I think he thinks that somehow we're going to be paying part of, because their leases keep going up. They keep raising the rates. And so right now it does seem like we're very close to the Dexter Township and us are very close to